I built, or at least attempted to build, a program that allows me to play Pokemon Showdown against ChatGPT. Using the awesome Pokémon Python library, I take information about the current battle state, like Pokemon on the field, any active effects, and even what happened in the previous turns, and then I put all of that into a prompt, and then use ChatGPT's API to prompt a AI response. And I take the AI response and I interpret it and feed that response into a ChatGPT controlled Pokemon Showdown account. And this way I'm able to battle against ChatGPT 4, which was the most intelligent model at the time that I was building this. And quickly before I get into the intelligent and masterful gameplay, if you liked the video, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe. It'd be cool if you helped out the channel. Of course, you're not obligated to, so alright. Let's see what happened. Going into the first battle, it actually tries to set up an interesting play. It uses rest turn 1 to heal off the damage that I would do going first, and then it tries to go into sleep talk. That's not a horrible idea, except for the fact that I use Calm Mind, which does not damage Dragonair, so it cannot go to sleep. It cannot use rest. But I don't think ChatGPT recognized that, and he still went for the sleep talk. I do commend the Dragon Dance. Usually a pretty good idea, but using it while 1, being so close to fainting, and then 2, switching right after it's used it, very interesting play to say the least. And then switching, and then switching again, and then switching back to Dragonair. All that just to lose the Dragonair. Alright. I know I promised you intelligent and masterful gameplay, and you must be thinking, Darthmark, how could you lie to us like that? Well, I regret to inform you that this program of mine seems to be deeply committed to this new switching meta for whatever reason, and I'm not smart enough to fix it. So I propose a challenge. In my bucket of bolts here, managed to take 6 KOs in the remaining 4 matches that I have recorded, and before this battle ends, ChatGPT tries to use Stealth Rocks, one of the only attacks it tries to use in the whole battle, and it gets reflected back to him. He can't switch, there's no benefit to that happening for me, and I think that's pretty funny. Obviously that was a pretty bad performance by ChatGPT, so let's see how he does in the second battle. Second battle actually had a decent start. My Rust Bucket actually uses an attacking move, which is already a rare sight, and it switches to Emolga to dodge my Earthquakes. Not half bad, but then it immediately switches to Vileplume. I really thought it was onto something this time, but no. And then it switches back to Venomoth. I'm starting to notice a pattern of this roundabout switching. It switches to Ninjask, which is also able to dodge Earthquakes, and it uses that turn to set up a Substitute, which is really good because of the combination with Ninjask's setup moves and its ability speed boost. Are we about to see some strategy here? No. Something even better. The tactical Venomoth sacrifice leading into a 2-turn switch back to Ninjask. Fucking fantastic. At this point, ChatGPT decides to try using some setup strats. The only problem with that is that Ninjask is totally vulnerable here. So change of plans. Back to Vileplume. Never mind. Maybe Mightyena can do some damage? The Intimidate gets rid of my attack boost, which is alright I guess, and it actually gets a hit in before going down. You know, this whole switching stuff wouldn't be half bad if it switched into Mightyena to take advantage of that Intimidate every time. Oh well. Up next is Stoutland, and it finally starts attacking. With 2 returns, my Arbok finally goes down. It only took 15 turns. I go to Dunsparce. Surely, ChatGPT can handle a measly Dunsparce, right? It sends in Vileplume for a hit and run, hidden power, and then goes right back to Ninjask to tactfully avoid my Earthquake, I'm sure. And then back to Stoutland. My Dunsparce is still pretty healthy, but Stoutland is able to land a super effective superpower. Just a little bit more to take down Dunsparce. But unfortunately, the stat drops cause Stoutland to miss the kill, and it goes down. Vileplume comes out, miraculously survives a hit, and heals up with Synthesis. But a headbutt flinch from Dunsparce scares ChatGPT, and it sends Ninjask back in. just for it to die of poison. And then back to Vileplume, and then to Emolga. Truly one-of-a-kind gameplay. Fortunately, ChatGPT decides to start attacking now that its master plan has been executed. Emolga heals up with Roost and lands a Thunderbolt that paralyzes Dunsparce. And this actually paves the way for victory, if we can call this a victory. Because of the paralysis, Dunsparce is slower than Emolga, and Emolga is able to set up Vileplume for the kill, which it takes with a hidden power. But my Tauros comes in and finishes the job. Honestly, 2 KOs was pretty good here. If ChatGPT is able to continue this pace, it will definitely exceed my expectations. But let's go on to the third battle. Battle 3 actually starts pretty well. It uses a couple of low kicks against my Blastoise, which I will say is pretty smart because Blastoise is heavy. However, my second Scald burns Bisharp, and burn reduces damage output, so that's unfortunate for ChatGPT. However, Gothitelle comes in and lands a Thunderbolt. Very nice. We love to see ChatGPT using super effective moves. And another one knocks out Blastoise. Probably the best start so far. I sent out Crawdon, and I actually like the switch here. Dark is super effective against Psychic, but it switches into another Psychic type, and it's all downhill from here. ChatGPT switches to Gothitelle, and then to Pidgeot right after, and then it switches to Muck, which I one-hit KO with a critical hit crunch, and back to Gothitelle, and surprise surprise, it dies. Krabby comes out, and we have a Crab Battle of the Ages. It uses Crab Hammer, which I tank. Then Krabby dies to the vicious jaws of Crawdon. Then Pidgeot comes in just to meet its imminent demise, and that is the end of Battle 3. But you know, ChatGPT did what it needed to do. 3 KOs so far, and as long as it doesn't completely shit the bed for the next 2 battles, I think it could still win. Okay, 4th battle. ChatGPT opens with a low-key hard read. I swing in with double-edged, but it doesn't kill thanks to the Focus Sash that Smeargle is holding, and ChatGPT immediately uses Memento to lower my stats, but a side effect of this is that Smeargle faints as a result. It then switches from Heatmore to Stunfisk and then finally to Alomomola. While it's wasting turns, I use Swords Dance to undo the stat drops, and after 3 dances, I use Double Edge again, which kills the fish and my Leafeon at the same time. But hey, I'm still counting that as a KO for ChatGPT. It goes to Heatmore, and I go to Victory Bell. However, I saw that I have Regigigas in my party, and I thought, let's give ChatGPT some free turns while I'm affected by Slow Start. Surely that will help it out a little bit. Let's see what ChatGPT does with these free turns. Well, I'll tell you what it did. A whole lot of nothing, and now I have a full power Regigigas, which folds ChatGPT's team like laundry. Whoops. My fault. Now, it's the final battle, and our Chrome Dome just needs 2 more kills to win. I open with Wobbuffet, and I instantly try to cheese ChatGPT with Destiny Bond. But it uses Toxic, and then uses Protect several times in a row, and then opts to use Toxic again to avoid damaging me and potentially losing Lapras to Destiny Bond. It's actually kind of crazy how it strategically avoided Destiny Bond like that. It actually really surprised me. Anyway, the rest of this battle is just Lunatone doing whatever while ChatGPT switches back and forth like it's his first day on Earth. However, amidst this incessant switching, I actually learned something. On one of the turns, I randomly decide to use Stealth Rocks to kind of speed up the process, and then it sends in Vespiquen, and I see that it does like half of its HP. And it turns out that type matchups are actually factored in when calculating Stealth Rock damage. I actually did not know that. So Vespiquen, being Flying and Bug type, is double weak to Rock type, which is why I did so much damage. Thanks ChatGPT, I guess. Anyway, many switches later, ChatGPT manages to use Toxic on my Lunatone, which practically guarantees the kill. Just as long as ChatGPT can survive long enough to allow the poison to kill me. With some extra attacks from Vespiquen, and some donated turns from me, my Lunatone finally goes down, and ChatGPT officially wins the challenge. I go into Abomasnow to close out the battle, and ChatGPT actually could have gotten another kill on me if the Fire Blast that it used actually hit me. But nonetheless, ChatGPT actually managed to get 6 kills over 5 games. Hooray! Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I know it's lame to ask so much, but if you did like the video, I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I also appreciate the comments as well. I like hearing feedback from people that isn't just a number. Any criticism you have is greatly appreciated. In all honesty, I wish I could have made this bot like more intelligent. But if I open the properties section on my coding file, we'll see that it was created. We won't talk about that. You know, eventually, like, I just got stumped trying to improve the logic, and I just wanted to get this video over with. So I thought maybe I could make like a little funny thing out of it. Hopefully it was funny. But once again, thanks for watching. That's all I got to say. I'll see you next time.